Good morning. Sorry, I had not gotten back to you earlier. And honestly, I'm yet to discuss this with my wife. I think I sent her the message, but we've not really had time to sit down to talk about it together. But I just thought to quickly drop a couple of thoughts while I wait for us to. I just like hearing a view, especially on matters that has to do with women or ladies. Because sometimes it just put things in perspective for me. I could be saying it from just through my masculine eyes, but when I run things like that by her, it gives me like a fuller picture. But going by the question you've asked, I'm starting from the very last bit where you said, sir, how can I turn down proposals from well-meaning guys in a lot less hurtful way, especially when I'm sure that they don't fit into the description of personality God has told me about. Um, that line of when they don't fit into the description is what got me, and I thought I should start from that. I'm hoping that giving a response to a proposal would not be based solely on whether or not someone looks like what God has told you about. And I'm saying that from a very personal experience, but because as at the time that I proposed marriage to my wife, and she went on to ask about my plans for the future and things like that. And everything I said, even while making her know that it's not like I have it all figured out. And I remember telling her of the fact that I had some set aside time in the nearest future. That was like a couple of weeks after she asked this question, when I wanted to just take like some 3 days time out to wait on God about what next after NYC and all that. So I couldn't, of course, give her answers that were so categorical. But at the time she was asking, everything I said about what I see happening in the future didn't quite look like the personality or the description that God told her about. So if it was just to be based on that, she would categorically have said no. But she knew well enough to go back to God and ask God. And thankfully, God was able to give her a response. What I'm saying basically is that for every proposal, go back to God. Don't just, especially when it's not like the person is an unbeliever or something, go back to God and first of all get what God is saying about that. That's on one side. On the other hand, is the fact that when you talk about having a big call of God upon your life as a woman, that's a tricky thing. And of course, there's one other lady on AMG that I think we've exchanged correspondence a lot about this. And there is a particular post that I sent to her. I would go back to her thread. I'm hoping I'm still able to find that and send it to you. Because the thing that happens when ladies feel like they are called by God, they're anointed, and they've got this big call upon their life, the next junction where the devil is waiting, and this is what I mean by being extra sensitive, waiting for them is at their marriage. Because such people, and of course we see it play out even in big names, big ministry names, global names when it comes to ministry and women. We've seen many of them come on the scene, and you're hearing of a divorce, you're hearing of 2 times divorces, you're hearing of, and of course there are some other people that are doing it well and it's working for them. So what have those people mastered and grasped that helped them, to be able to balance everything in the mix? So I think that post basically addresses that. If you are yet to what's the word? If you are yet to get a grasp on the basic thesis of that post, and which is the fact that your home is going to be your primary ministry, no matter the level of call you see God calling you to be. If you don't settle the fact that your family, your marriage, your immediate family is your ultimate and biggest calling that you could ever have, and that applies to a man as much as to a woman, but more so to a woman, you are setting yourself up for a disaster marriage-wise. But if you embrace that, in fact, it won't be, no matter what God is showing you about the future calling-wise, that won't get into your head in the now, because you know that everything is still subjective to the authority and leadership of the man that God is going to place you under. If you are not yet ready to submit to that authority and leadership, even if it means that the man comes to say, no, you can't do this, And of course, the man will have to answer to God about that personally. But until you're ready to admit that it is possible for the man that God places upon you to be the man, basically, to be the one that you are there to help. And if that would mean sacrificing some things or even delaying some of the visions that God is playing in your heart, if you're not ready to embrace that bit, you're not ready to go the long haul when it comes to marriage and ministry. You might have to eventually settle to take one out of the two, which is what happens very many times. We've seen this play out again and again. So I'm going to look for that post. I'm going to send it to you. I think there was one that was, it's not like written by me, but I found it very helpful and I sent it to her. So I'll try and get it and send it to you as well. So yeah, those are the two things that I thought to quickly highlight. But again, like I said, this is just me being masculine. My wife might share some other thoughts on this, and if she does, I would also let you know. Take good care of yourself there. Bye.